Hey, it's John U. Bacon, everyone. Thanks. He doesn't even have the phone in his pocket. He's actually letting you see him this morning. This is amazing. I feel so honored, Ira. I feel so honored that he's gracing us with his video presence this morning.
It's an amazing morning.
And now you can see why I don't do this. The hair's all a mess. I look a little tired. Man, no. And you poor souls get up at 4:30, man. And you had to watch the game last night, I'm sure. So
Absolutely.
I just spent a lot of time on my hair. That's why Sam put on a hat. I did a lot of
time in your hair. There you go. I've not seen you in a while, Ira. Things have changed.
Yeah, I'm gonna start using the razor here shortly myself. You know.
Yeah, well, there's that one. That's next, pal. And Sam was sporting the goatee.
I'm getting the salt and pepper in there. It's coming.
Oh, I got all salt. Looks like.
Yeah, man.
How does salt mix with blonde? So you're fine.
Yeah, up here I can kind of say, "Oh, that's just blonde," you know. But down here, you can't get away with it. So, you know, Teddy's line, right? I asked Teddy. I said, "What do you think about Dad's, COVID goatee?" And he said, "Well, some pirates have beards, but they're never gray." I know where I stand. All right, fair. Hey, you guys both know kids tell no lies. They're not that worried about your feelings.
Yeah, no. But this is one of the things I want to get into is how rare it is, Bakes, to see someone take the place of like a legend. And I think we can all agree that John Beilein, at least at Michigan, is the best coach to walk the sideline, the Michigan basketball program. And for Juwan Howard to come in and carry on that success and win a title in year 2, that's rarefied air.
It's the thinnest air, honestly. Year 2. And there was a quasi rebuilding, not that Beilein left the program in bad shape by any means, but you're switching gears. And these days you don't get players for more than a year or 2 usually. So you're always rebuilding, basically. Look, you and I were probably more positive on Juwan's prospects at Michigan than most because, look, go back and look at the files. And you will see plenty of folks saying he's never coached in college. True. Never been a head coach. True. Hasn't known anything about recruiting. Maybe. All right. All this stuff. And so you and I were defending him more than most, I think, saying that, look, in 3-4 years, he'll have it up and running his way. He'll learn what he needs to learn about recruiting, and all this business and about being a head coach. Holy smokes. Not only are they going to be a number 1 seed this time out, 15th Big Ten title last year, far sooner than expected. Look, who wants to play Michigan right now?
I hear
a lot of folks. Hey,
Illinois is probably the only team that wants them, right? But hey, the feeling is mutual, Illini. I think Michigan wants that game all over again, too. But what do you make, before we get to last night, what do you make of how quickly the tide turned in the hearts and minds of some of the Wolverine faithful, that all of a sudden, only the second loss of the season, emphatic though it was, people were saying, "Oh, this team's overrated. They're going to crash and burn." They were never that good. I mean, after a stunning defeat for sure, but are you more what you were in 2 losses, or are you more what you were in 18 victories?
Well, the answer is yes. I mean, it's all part of the package. But find me the UNLV, find me the Duke team, find me Indiana in 76 that's going to run the table and not have a loss.
Right.
There's not one team out there that I say this team can't be beat. And certainly Gonzaga's not making me think that. Who the hell they playing? So no. So there's no unbeatable team out there. Hey, Woody Hayes, great quote. Nothing cleans your soul like getting your butt kicked. And they got their butt kicked. They came back humble. They came back ready to learn. And last night was a grinded out game for Michigan. It was pretty basketball compared to other games.
Yeah, I think
second half had a lot more flow to
it. Yeah, Bakes. I think that last night, and we'll get John U. Bacon back on here shortly, having a little bit of technical difficulty. But I think last night is such a vivid example, and just of what we've been talking about his entire tenure. When you take over a program that has a winning culture already, and you're charged with carrying it on, you need buy-in from the holdovers. You need buy-in for the guys that were a part of the success in the past so you can carry on that success in the future. Now, Juwan, he had court credibility as a player in college and the pros, court credibility as an assistant in the pros, and yet he hadn't been in college. There still had to be some degree of, all right, we can trust without question what he's asking us to do. You saw that from the moment they hit the court last year. All the success they had out of the gate. And then as you turn the page and you get more of the guys that are mostly a part of his influence and incorporating them into the fold. Think about the buy-in, and we talked about this before, the buy-in for an Isaiah Livers, who, bought into the idea of, coaches come in, we're going to follow him. He's going to lead the way for us, but I'm coming back for my senior year. Senior night last night, coming back for my senior year, and I'm trying to improve my draft status. But on this team, to help meet its goal, I got to play a role. And that role means I'm not going to always be the guy. I'm not going to always be the man. And get buy-in on that. Or Sean D. Brown coming in, I'm transferring, looking for that opportunity to boost my draft status, looking for a way to showcase my talent that can boost my possibilities post-college. But come here, you got to play a role. And that role might be coming off the bench. And absolute buy-in into that. So much so that this team has had the type of Big Ten season that, even with the 2 losses, is unlike any Big Ten season I've seen a Michigan team have. It is, as far as I'm concerned, a coaching masterpiece this season under the circumstances. And coach of the year worthy. Now, John U. Bacon, I say I don't want to take credit away from Tom Izzo, because Tom Izzo was dealt in basically an impossible hand with this roster. He sort of kind of inherited, because I don't think he understands how any of these guys that are playing for him now, I don't think he understands how any of them are around. Like, who are these guys that he has to coach this year? And, these holes that he's had to fill, how could he possibly fill them when he doesn't have access to the transfer portal in the ways that other coaches have access to it? And he has managed to get his team to over 500. That is coach of the year stuff too. So it raises the stakes, in my opinion, for the rematch on Sunday. What say you?
Absolutely. And Juwan Howard's already said, you got to get seriously on Sunday. Their goal is to be the last team standing in April. And to me, standings, they won the Big Ten. They won it outright. 15 titles, of course, and I don't know how many are outright, probably about half of those. So all that's in the bag, and yet, trust me, from a coach's point of view, the last thing you want is to see your team get sloppy or lazy or rough around the edges. They got to play sharp, and damn well, look, the Spartans, what are they playing for? They're playing to keep their 22-year streak alive to year 23, and that game could do it. That's an extraordinarily high-quality win on Sunday if they can get it. That could be enough to keep them in the tournament. So they're fighting for their lives. So that's good practice for Michigan to find out, from now on, you're playing desperate teams. Every game is going to be against a desperate team. Chances are fighting for something. Their playoff lives, tournament lives, do or die, and of course the NCAA tournament and so on. So no, it's all there, and you are dead right. This is one of the best coaching jobs I've seen from Juwan. Got him to buy in. The most amazing thing, you mentioned role players, is that these guys are buying into that in year and a half. That's pretty crazy. Look, all-star teams almost always lose to a great, well-coached, singular team, if you will. And that's one reason why the U.S. teams, when they go overseas, of course, for the Olympics and for the World Championships and so on, they often fail. They have a ton of talent, but you know what? You have one ball. You need a sixth man, you need a seventh man, eighth man, ninth man. You need guys to die for loose balls. You need guys who are going to play defense. And he's got them bought into all those things. It's a phenomenal job. And, show me the Michigan team that has been more fun to watch and has had more fun than this team. and that is without a crowd. Imagine how much fun this would be if the Maze Rage was back. This is a phenomenal job, and as you point out, it's not like he's taking over for chump change here. John Beilein, is probably statue worthy in front of Chrysler, about as good as it gets, in my opinion. So that's a hard act to follow. They all respected John Beilein. My impression is they just flat out love playing for Juwan.
Yeah, absolutely do. There is zero doubt about that. It wasn't about him after the game. He made it about his guys, which is so typical of Juwan, right? And then also keeping, celebrating, but also keeping an eye on the task at hand. You know what else I noticed? When it came time to celebrate, to cut down the nets, you know who I didn't see? I saw him dancing. I don't know if you've seen the video of Warren Manuel dancing. Did you see that?
I'm looking at it right now, and a great quote from Nick Baumgartner, that exhumed it from a couple of years ago. Great quote. And by the way, Ward, not bad. Of course, he's a New Orleans guy. You expect this. He's got a little something in him. But his quote at the time, "I'm going to gamble with people who love this place the way that he does, that gets emotional when he looks at his family and talks to those kids. I'm going to take that risk. I'm going to take that challenge." That's from Nick Baumgartner from the interview, the press conference years ago. Like we said earlier, Sam, people now say, "Oh, of course, blah, blah, blah." It was no of course 2 years ago. This was a risk.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. But one that he had shown, if history is a guide, right? He has shown that he could make in the past, make successfully. And so far, the pattern continues here when it comes to the hires. And if you want to narrow it specifically to basketball, following a very similar path to when he hired Kevin Ollie at UConn. Now, we hope that it reaches the pinnacle that tenure reached without having the downturn afterwards. That can be the plan here. But I'm gonna give you a little trivia question, Bakes. Name the athletic director who, back in 2013, when Michigan made the Final Four, climbed up the ladder and cut down the nets. Can you name that athletic director?
I can.
What is his name? I give you one guess, but only one.
I think you already know.
I don't. I need the name, Bakes. I need the name. I'm testing you right now.
You're gonna make me do this. The answer is Dave Brandon.
I just wonder.
I'm impressed John knew the answer.
I'm so impressed too. What happened to Dave Brandon after he left after he departed from Michigan, after he parted ways from Michigan? Do you know where he wound up? Where did he wind up, Bakes?
Dude, what are you doing to me over here?
I'm just wondering, where did he wind up?
He became, within a year, the CEO of Toys R Us Corporation.
He was. Oh, wow. And so, Bakes, have you ever taken Teddy to Toys R Us?
We have not.
Why haven't you taken Teddy to Toys R Us?
Well, it's funny you ask. It turns out they have closed. They've gone bankrupt.
I was just wondering if you knew these things, John G. Bacon. Meanwhile,
I did.
It's a good thing you don't have to answer the question to Teddy. What happened to Jeffrey?
Jeffrey's in a glue factory now. That's not a pretty story.
Oh man!
I'm going to tell Teddy that Jeffrey went to a farm in upstate New York. That's my story.
He doesn't even know the song. How did that song go, Bakes? That they used to sing at Toys R Us? We used to sing at Toys R Us as a kid.
I don't want to grow up.
I'm a Toys R Us kid. Yeah, I got it. You're just warming me up, pal. You're warming me up.
Hey, listen.
He's marinating the bacon is what he's doing before, the big feast.
John, the thing is, we only have 8 total minutes between me and Sam tomorrow. So we have unlimited time on our airwaves is apparently where Sam is going with this.
I see.
I mean, what, pray tell, are you talking about right now? What do you mean tomorrow, John? I mean, you're pointing attention to something maybe a lot of people listening aren't aware of. What could you possibly be referencing right now?
Well, as it turns out, hey, gonna eat the horse, might as well eat the tail. Tomorrow night, 8:30. They, my soon-to-be former friends like Sam Webb and Ira Weintraub, great guys I really like and respect, that kind of thing. Plus Jamie Morris, our old pal there, of course, and our friends from MGO Blog, Brian Cook, for example, and Seth Fisher, the SOB who set this up. Seth, man, he invented the radio ambush. That's a new thing. That's Seth Fisher on these airwaves. 3 weeks ago, I think it was. So tomorrow at 8:30, and some big national stars like the Sklar Brothers, Jason and Randy, who are fantastic and well known to Michigan fans. Jordan Klepper from The Daily Show and his own show, of course, a big national star. Jeffrey Ross, this is the guy that concerns me the most. He is the probably world's preeminent roaster, the MC in perpetuity of the Friars Club on Comedy Central. It's been around for, Friars Club has been around for 60, 70 years or so at least. And he's grossly overqualified for this. Holly Anderson seems lovely, but we'll see tomorrow night how lovely she really is. And who else do we have on that list right there? Oh, and just for fun, friends of mine that go back to junior high school because I need that.
Hey, this is the things you get. Think about all that John U. Bacon has done for us when we're having fun watching games, and when we travel, when we go to these places up north, we go and we have fun. Bakes, when you go to these places up north to sequester yourself, what are you doing?
What am I doing?
What are you doing when you go to these? Like I say, when we go up north, we are having fun. We are doing everything but working. When you go up to these places, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm bringing my computer and I'm writing, aren't I? Yeah.
And not just writing. This is not just some article you're writing. These are like masterpieces you've graced us with over these years. You're writing books, are you not?
I am writing books. That is true. And usually about Michigan athletics. Not always, but usually.
There you go. And this is the thanks you get, that we get a chance to come out after all you've done for us and rake you over the coals. At least it's for a good cause. Joining us to talk about that, our good friends. We love these guys. Bex, we got to thank you for this. I mean, we said, hey, we're going to roast John U. Bacon. Randy and Jason Sklar, they said, oh, we're there. They couldn't wait to join us. How you guys doing this morning?
Oh, man, I'm good. It's early in Los Angeles. We're, when we're out on the road. This is
Randy, by the way.
This is Randy. When we're out on the road, Bacon's writing books and we're just writing roast jokes about Bacon. We knew this day would come. I don't care where we are. We're somewhere. We knew we'd roast him. Here's the thing. John U. Bacon is the best. We listen to him on this podcast all the time. I now just call him Bakes because of you. And he is just a lovable guy who maybe laughs a little too long at every single thing he says on this show. That's fine. That's fine. If you were, it's like the show on Netflix, Making a Murderer. You remember that show that was in Wisconsin? The phone conversations back and forth between one of the kids and his mom. If you were to take out all of the yeah, that show would have been 3 episodes. If you were to take out all the laughter that John U. Bacon has on this show after every single thing he says, his segments would be 30 seconds long. This is going to be a fun roast.
What you say too, I swear.
This is going to be so fun. And the thing about roasting, and this is, Jeff Ross is a good friend of ours and someone who we love. And the thing about roasting is it's all done when it's done right. It's done out of love. It's never mean. It's never mean. It comes from a place of love. And by the way, everyone's going to get it up there. Everybody who's part of it. That's the best thing about being on a roast. Jay and I are going to get it. We're hosting, but people are going to give it to us. People are going to give it to Sam. People are going to give it to Brian Cook. People are going to everybody's going to get touched. It's great. It's like going down in the paint against Michigan State when you're up 28 and they bring in the thugs. Everybody's going to get touched. A little bit.
I got a treat because I had to go deep. I had to go hard in the paint for this opportunity because I've known Bakes for a long time.
Yeah.
And, I happen to be privy to a different side of John U. Bacon that no one publicly is really privy to. Because, I was around when Dave Brandon banished John U. Bacon to press box purgatory.
Yeah.
With the rest of us, we were down on like the base, and Bakes was like the summit of the Himalayas. I mean, he was.
I got nosebleeds visiting John in the press box.
Yeah, I mean, he was, And so I actually found, with some help from some people in high places, I found the recording of John Bacon's interaction with the Michigan brass when they gave him that news. I got it. And I can't play it on the airwaves here.
No.
Because there's some explicit. You guys didn't know that John Bacon swears. John Bacon swears. He swears.
I think
he swears in this recording.
I love it.
You're gonna hear it, but it's only the people who show up to the roast are gonna be able to hear John U. Bacon. And this is again, there happened to be a recorder being, had the record button was hit. Someone was recording John U. Bacon when he just unloaded on the people at the University of Michigan for following Dave Brandon and then allowing them to banish him to press box purgatory. He certainly came back, but I got it for you. You can listen to it.
These are like the lost Nixon tapes. Only whiter.
Yes.
You guys, I can't wait. I mean, Bakes, you are, let me just say this now and we'll say it tomorrow night too. You are the best, most generous dude to put yourself out there. And it takes a big person to put themselves out there and say, look, I will be the sacrificial lamb for this type of an event.
He would be more pork than lamb because he is the whitest of meats.
That's right. So
hey, it's Jason Sklar too, folks. Jason Sklar joins us this morning. Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Sam. Thank you for all that you do, and thank you for your amazing, amazing, amazing work that you put in, man. We listen to you every day, and we love bacon on Fridays. And I'm telling you, this event is going to be fantastic. Rand and I are so excited and so grateful to you and Ira for promoting it so much on your great show.
Well, listen, let me throw it out there because I've done some preparation. I had to seek out some assistance from some comedic genius that I know. And when I told them the cause, the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase, there were guys that was like, oh, Sam, you need some help roasting John Eubank? We're there. I mean, we were roast bakes anyway.
I've never heard from so many people in my life.
Help.
From when I was told when that happened, yes.
For woodwork.
John is very popular.
Cause too, it even doubles the motivation to participate because the support for the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase, it extends well beyond Ann Arbor. As you guys who are here with us this morning, you represent that. You're indicative of that.
So this is why it's such a great thing for people who maybe don't know or wouldn't understand how truly important it is. It's one of our favorite places to perform in the country. We perform all over the world. But what it does, and Bakes has been such a huge part of every time we come. He has come to every single time we have come to perform at the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. He makes it to one show, and not only does he make it to a show, but
we go to dinner.
We go to dinner beforehand in downtown Ann Arbor. We'll do the show. We'll hang out and have drinks afterwards with a big group of people. So when you think about it, it's the before the show. We bring people in from national acts come to Ann Arbor. They bring their fans out to the city of Ann Arbor. People go out to dinner ahead of time. They go to the show. They go. And so what you're doing is you're infusing the businesses of downtown Ann Arbor. It is just a wonderful thing that should continue to keep going.
I mean, we started there when we were at Michigan, when Juwan was at Michigan, we were doing comedy for like the first time back at the Ann Arbor Comedy. It was the Main Street Comedy Showcase, but same club.
I mean, nothing we were doing was as funny as the Michigan basketball team the year before the Fab Five got there.
Yes,
that was hilarious.
Yes.
But
hey man, we might have Tony Tolbert and Rich MacGyver and Kirk Taylor. Those guys might listen to the show, man. We love this show, and we love, you know how much we love Michigan sports. Absolutely.
You got to roast where roasting is available. I mean, the good news is now we get to roast everybody, and I can't wait. So what, Jay, tell them what Dan's our co-host of our podcast, Dumb People Town, what we need to say when we in the Big Ten tournament beat Illinois, and that's going to happen. Jay, what did he tell us?
He said that. Well, he tweeted out that Illinois had its second best season in 20 years, and he's not going to. This is after they beat us the other night, and he's not going to talk to the Sklar Brothers anymore about it. And he said, when you beat Illinois in the postseason, when it counts, because that's what's going to happen. He said you need to tweet out, Illinois has had its second best season in the last 20 years, and we're not going to talk to Dan Van Kirk about this anymore. And that's the truth. Like, hey, we all remember 1989 when Michigan couldn't beat Illinois at all during the regular season. And did it matter? Did it matter?
No, it didn't.
Sean Higgins. Love Sean Higgins to this day.
Love him. Love him.
Right. Hey, Bakeson, you know we love you, right? You know that, right?
Technically, yes. on paper, sure. Hey, ask me Sunday morning, pal. I'll have a much better answer for you.
You are gonna feel the love because it is just gonna. The only way you can make jokes.
We're good. Hey, this is a big boy business. We can handle this.
Yeah, but you know that the only way you can truly make jokes that actually make people laugh about someone is to truly know someone. You can't do comedy about a subject if you don't fully engage with it or know it deeply on a deep level. And that you have made your life. Look at all the people on this show, and we listen to you again on this show regularly, and our interaction with you and the people at the University of Michigan, and, you know, students and people who played hockey for you, people who laughed at you when they played hockey with you, because that was a very comedic experience. They love you, and that love will come through.
Well, they kept confusing John with the ice. He literally is
very. We mentioned he's extraordinary.
Like, why are we carting four guys out on the ice? We can put they're not on a power play. Oh, Bacon's out there. Okay,
he's out there. He's out there.
Hey, man, I heard he had some very impressive Wayne Gretzky-like moves at some point in his career. I mean, it was there. There's no film of it. No record.
But it was.
This is pre-film. Problem.
Exactly.
It was Wayne Gretzky when he was on the Blues, and he was like 38.
He was. I would argue that John U. Bacon is more Paulina Gretzky than Wayne Gretzky.
just not as hot, unfortunately.
Yeah, very visible on Instagram.
So listen. I'm sure there are people listening right now, and I know we've thrown it out before, but people out there that maybe just are tuning in want to know, how can they participate? How can they see it? How can they take part?
Jake, go ahead.
So this is really easy, and it's not expensive, and it's COVID friendly, meaning you can watch this from your own home, order some food in, hang out. You go to eventbrite.com, search Bacon Roast, and you will find it. The link is going to be thrown up. It's on the site. MGO Blog has it up on their site. Buy a ticket. They made vintage T-shirts for Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. You get a ticket for the show plus a T-shirt. You come to the show. You can donate even more money to the club. The goal is for us to try and save this club. And, you know, man, we do all kinds of benefits all the time. I know you guys do, Sam, and I know Bacon has been a part of them. And sometimes you're just given to this massive cause and you don't know where the money's going, and you don't know if it's actually going to be affecting the thing you want it to affect. Right now, this single event that we're doing, I can tell you because we've already sold a bunch of tickets, but we want to obviously sell more. This has the power to keep this club open for one more month. And if you can keep the club open for one more month, we're heading towards hopefully a time when they can start having more people in there. And then they survive. So if we can bridge the gap and help this place survive, it's really important for Ann Arbor, and you guys can do it. And there are some tickets left. So go to eventbrite.com. Look for Bacon Roast. You can also go to nowherecomedy.com, go to mgoblog.com. Everyone's got the link. Pop in, pick up a ticket. I think there's some VIP tickets left, which includes a meet and greet afterwards. I don't know. There's just a lot of great stuff. It's really easy to
we've done a lot of shows at Nowhere Comedy Club. We just did our own podcast, Dumb People Town, last weekend with Jack Black, and Open Mike Eagle did music. It was fantastic. And so to handle kind of a big show with big personalities, this place is great. They know exactly what they're doing. And
we can hear the laughter. It's cool. They tell everyone who's in the audience to turn their volume down on their Zoom down like to the one-fifth. Yeah, one-fifth. And then as performers, we get to hear people laugh. So not only we get to hear people roast John U. Bacon, you'll get to hear people laugh at John U. Bacon.
Yeah.
Even better.
Hey guys, we got Bakes' take on last night. You know, Michigan cutting down the nets in just that's the other thing that sticks out. It's just year 2 of Juwan Howard, and already a Big Ten regular season championship. hey, you guys, I mean, you've loved Michigan as
Mhm.
long as we have.
Yeah.
You know that, for our from childhood to teenage years to college years to adulthood, we saw one Big Ten regular season championship in '86.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Right. So it
Yeah.
wasn't until the 2010s with John Beilein that we saw the Big Ten regular season championship return. And here, Juwan Howard has already accomplished that in year 2.
It's unbelievable what he's done. And you just, again, how much of athletics, especially now during COVID, is about the buy-in. Kids just buying in and saying, okay, to me, that's the job he did. To take a guy like Mike Smith, to take a guy like Sean D. Brown Jr., to understand that those are the guys you need to take. You talk about it all the time on this podcast and on your recruiting podcast and all that other stuff. But the idea that Juwan looked around, and this is a guy who's been in the NBA for 20 years and understands what a team needs to be built on. Like, Juwan Howard was part of that Miami Heat team that made the run last year that was improbable. Now, why did that team make that run? Because they had the personnel to handle being in the pandemic together, to be in the bubble and make that run. So I want that guy. You look at Bam Adebayo and you say to yourself, okay, how is this guy going to be, a superstar in this league? Are we really thinking him a superstar? Look at what he did, and look at what Juwan helped him to learn how to do, and what he did, how valuable he was in those NBA finals. It's undeniable. So when he looks around and says, okay, Sean D. Brown is the guy I want to be on this team over maybe some other players, Juwan knows that he has watched so much tape on this guy. He has talked to so many people. He's probably talked to Danny Manning and said, this is a guy who will make your team better. I don't care that he doesn't have as many points per game as, maybe he wasn't the number 1 option on his team last year. This is why, because he may be coming off the bench as a 6th man, and you talk about buy-in, you need this guy to come off the bench. Mike Smith took a ton of shots when he was at Columbia all the time. We need Mike Smith to be a facilitator, and guess what? He's the assist leader in the Big Ten as a guy coming in. That's incredible how he took a scorer and made him an assist leader, and he did it because his staff is awesome. And I don't know, it's incredible. He should be the coach of the year. There's just no question in my mind, because the Big Ten is the toughest conference. Big Ten and Big 12.
Yeah, to do it this year. All right. It's not like we're talking about a year when like the Big Ten was down and you didn't have teams that were performing. Like, how many top 5 matchups did we have in a row? I mean, you think top 10 games did we play in a row against this conference? This is insane. We are in a moment where I know we talk about how we want football to be doing better, and we want, we feel like the football program could be at a higher point. Right now, we're at a high point with the basketball team. We need to acknowledge that and be excited about that and live in that. And of course, it doesn't mean you're going to win the NCAA tournament, but we just did a huge thing. We're going to raise a banner for this year, and that's amazing.
And one that I put to Bakes earlier, and Bakes, maybe you can. I'm sure you could come up with some names, but that there are so few names to come up with for this next, as an answer to this next question, I think highlights what an accomplishment this is for Juwan Howard. But how many guys, whether you're or men or women, whether you're talking about coaches or players, replace the legend in that spot? So the best player or coach to ever do it in that role or whatever, or one of the best maybe, and then you came in, the guy or the man or woman that followed him, carrying it on. That's rarefied air. I mean, we could think, Aaron Rodgers replacing Brett Favre, right? I mean, you can name some.
I mean, but
there's a whole lot of them.
When did Roy Williams replace Dean Smith?
No, they had Guthridge and Doherty between them.
So they had someone in between them, right? So, I mean, you can't even do that. Yes, you're right. And you think about what Beilein did for this program. Remember when Beilein took over the program, where it was and what he was able to do and how he was able to bring, the culture and bring what he brought to this place, and how Juwan just basically was like, I'm not going to ignore that culture. I'm not going to say that's not a part of what we've got right now, because he's got pieces from that culture on this team. But for him to just say, okay, I'm going to take that and then I'm going to go for some 5-star kids, and then I'm going to let them ball out and play slightly a little more sort of fun outside of the box playing. And then I'm going to start, making offers to kids who haven't been to campus yet. Now you see it's like a building on what they had before. And that's why I think you could possibly reach higher heights.
I mean, we've gotten a few names, Bakes, via Twitter. But can you think of, some of the guys, men or women, coaches or players that replace legends successfully? Like we could, name 6, 7, 8. We could, maybe count them up here on the show, but it's just rare to see someone carry on success in the way that Juwan Howard has been able to.
Well, it's extremely rare. And if you limit it to coaches, which I think is the harder thing to do, then it gets even harder. I mean, who wants to follow Woody Hayes or Bo Schembechler, obviously? Who wants to follow Tom Izzo at Michigan State? Not an appealing task by a long shot.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when Beeline left with no marks against him. He was beloved, respected, and highly successful while doing it the right way. So, there are no, dents in that armor, basically. So that is not the guy you want to follow. Juwan did it, and he was always been very respectful to Beeline, which is no small point. You have to be, of course, and you want to be. And then you're also taking over players who already like and respect the previous coach. So almost all you can do is screw this up, basically. And I'm not laughing after that point, Sklars. I'm not laughing anymore, ever, about anything. That's my new rule.
Hey, we just sold the ticket. Jenny said she bought a ticket. Can't wait. Keep those ticket purchases coming in because we're going to have an absolute ball tomorrow roasting John U. Bacon for a great cause. I wonder, why is it people just see bacon and they say roast? We did that with the Humane Society Huron Valley a couple of years ago. You ever thought about that, Bakes? Why people think you're so roast worthy?
What's funny is how I'm the only name that comes up in this county. That's I should probably look more closely at myself. I said, why is it? 300,000 people in this county. Oh, you need a roast? Yeah, get bacon. He's because
they know you're tough.
Yes, John, you're very successful.
Successful.
This is the butter up. This is the marinating you guys do before the big feast. So
it takes a special person. It takes a special person. It's like
a dumb person. Let's be honest.
No,
it doesn't. Listen, they Bakes did a book release, and they couldn't find a venue big enough.
That's right.
Big enough to hold the number of people that wanted to come out. So they said, let's go Randolph Hill Auditorium. Next time Bakes does a book release, it's the Chrysler Center. You understand, Bakes, why people would say, well, that's the guy. And then you got to take a whole auditorium to fill it up with your, to have enough capacity for your fans. That's big stuff, man.
I'll keep that in mind tomorrow night. Thanks, Sam.
Listen, Bakes, only you take big swings. That is why you put yourself out there. Only you would write a book about an explosion on a ship and think it wouldn't bore people to death. You take the swings, man, and I love that you do that. Listen, I'm going to predict that in the future, he's too young now, but maybe 10, 15 years down the road, you can pass the mantle to someone like Bryce Marich. That's all I'm saying. And then we can all
He'll be the next very roastable.
He's the next roastable guy in the family, and we'll pass the baton to him down the road. But for right now, you are, and again, we love you so much that this is going to be, it's going to be a love fest. You're going to wake up Sunday morning and you are going to say, I am a loved human being. And people care about me to want to write jokes about me in this way.
Yeah, we just got another one from John Leopold. He said, John Leopold, he just messaged in from Facebook, watch Sklar Brothers show last weekend, and I'm excited for the bacon roast. Bakes, they're lining up for you, man.
I love it.
That's a good thing. Look, if you're going to eat the horse, eat the tail. Folks, you got to buy these tickets. We're not doing this on Sunday. I guarantee you. It's not happening next week. And we got to save this place. We all love the Comedy Showcase. I'm a season ticket holder from way back.
Yep.
That's how I met the Sklar Brothers and some other great acts like Lynn Coplis and so on. You get national quality comedy right in your backyard. And look, comedy on TV is great, but comedy live is a different beast.
Yeah, and I pick up on the subtle. I think what's so great about you guys is the overt sort of comedy, and then the subtle comedy where you said, look at Michigan when it comes to and even you, Bakes. So you look at Michigan John Beilein didn't have any marks when they replaced their legendary coach. I happen to know a place down in Columbus that when their coaches, both of their last coaches left in disgrace. So when Buckeyes say, well, yeah, we replaced Urban Meyer with Ryan Day, and we replaced John Tressel or Jim Tressel with Urban Meyer. I think Jim Tressel kind of left in disgrace. I think Urban Meyer kind of left in disgrace. Not to say that it makes either of those guys easy to replace, but it certainly makes it a little easier, wouldn't you say?
No question. And by the way, you're too kind. He said, I think he might have left in disgrace. No, he was fired for cheating. Let's remove the euphemism here. Not laughing, Sklar. Not laughing.
No, and I mean
It's horrible.
The only good news is that the players didn't have to face the scorn of the students on campus because the players have never seen campus before at Ohio State. If you ask Justin Fields, where's the chem building on the campus, he would point you towards Cincinnati. These guys don't even know where campus is.
I was going to say, what about campus itself? Where's the campus?
I can't even.
3 months into his tenure at Michigan, at Ohio State, and he said, well, what do you know campus? I don't know. Never been there.
Never been. Meanwhile, we're in class with the Fab Five, okay?
Yeah,
we're sitting with and I'm talking like a 8 a.m. or a 9 a.m. class, and all of them were there. So, but I do think there is something to, as we were talking about, how does someone take and follow a legend? There is something to everyone wants to sort of bemoan the whole Michigan man thing, but think about how affected Juwan Howard was when he took that first press conference and how emotional he was, and the history of Michigan because not only did he come and play here, not only did he recruit the other Fab Five guys as the first guy in, the J.J. McCarthy of his day, the Will Johnson of his class, so to speak, to make it as current as possible. Not only was he that, but then he played here and he went to the NCAA tournament and he put banners up which came down, which maybe they'll come back up again. But the point is that he was a part of this for all those years to that point. That comes out when you're in the press conference. And that comes out. He watched Beilein. He loved Beilein. And so it's not like he's coming in from another program or he's Brad Stevens coming from the Celtics when he gets fired from there to take over Duke. And, which is my prediction, which we had Tim Brando on our podcast, and he predicted that would happen someday when Coach K hangs him up. But the point is that, Juwan is Michigan. So there is something to the Michigan man coming here. And I think that has a lot to do with him being able to replace a legend like Beilein.
Bakes, is this your next book? Is this the topic of your next Michigan book, Juwan Howard? Have you already started?
Yet, but in the meantime, and I might as well send you the damn cover and the jacket flap copy because you're gonna make fun of it anyway. The next book is called "Let Them Lead: Unexpected Lessons in Leadership from America's Worst High School Hockey Team," coached by yours truly.
Yours truly.
and yes, my record, if you will, of 86 games and a Huron uniform with the fewest goals 0. That's front and center on the jacket flap. You might as well own this stuff. So I'm just giving you material.
You're roasting yourself on your own book cover.
Roasting bacon. And by the way, now a smarter man, and I'm not that man, but a smarter man, the more love Jason and Randy give you on Friday, the more you think, man, they must have some good stuff.
Nah, come on.
We have good stuff on everybody.
We have good stuff on everybody. We got good stuff on everybody. And honestly, Jeff Ross is going to be on this show. The Roastmaster General from Comedy Central. He's going to be on the show. Jordan Klepper from The Daily Show. He's going to be on the show. Zach Martino, who's a great comic from Ann Arbor. He's going to be on the show. Some close friends of Bacon, Ira, Sam.
Jamie Morris.
You got Brian Cook, Seth Fisher. Brian Cook's going to take time off from watching his little kids to come do the show, which I think is a miracle in its own right. So it's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. And following Jeff Ross is like having to follow John Beilein. Who's going to be able to do that? You got to tune in to find out.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be you guys, right? Got to be.
Yeah, we'll take the bullet on that one. But of course,
let's throw out the ticket info, the ticket, the time info again.
Sure. So you're going to go to eventbrite.com. It's up on the screen now, but eventbrite.com, and just look up John Bacon Roast and you'll find it on there. But the full link is right now here. It's over at MGO Blog. It's right at the top up there. And you click on there, you get tickets. Again, the MGO Blog guys make the best t-shirts in the world. They're connected, and we sort of came up with the idea with them, but they did a great throwback to the old Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase t-shirt, their old logo and everything. It's maize and blue.
And by the way, all of the proceeds, even the venue is donating the venue. So all the proceeds are going to Saving the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. It is tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. East Coast time.
I'm looking to
Saturday night. And you don't even have to be, by the way, if you're listening to this show, if you consume this show like we do out here in California, you don't have to be in Ann Arbor to watch this show. You just got to be at your house. And that's fantastic. It's a live show. It's going to be awesome.
Hey, Ira, can you tweet that out? Tweet it out again, the link, and we'll blast the retweets out as well. We want to get as many people as possible. And as I said, folks, we promise you, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we promise you to show you a side of bacon you've never seen before, or expose you to a side of bacon you've never seen before.
The best. You guys.
That? And look, hey, I think they already sold like 300 or 400 tickets. Our goal is 600 or 700, I think, and we're about 2/3 of the way there. And of course, things always do ramp up the last day and a half or so. So let's sell it out. Let's do this thing. Like I said, we ain't doing this damn thing on Sunday, people. I'm telling you.
I mean, it's the power. It's the power of this show. It's kind of why we love this show so much. I mean, I actually even love listening to like callers call into the local callers. I mean, here we are out in LA, and I'm walking around because just to keep my sanity, and I'm listening to this podcast and the recruiting podcast and the 24/7s, to all the great stuff you guys do. Listening to Bakes on the show. I mean, I'm getting into. I know we know people who call into the show. I know the Monster Tree people. I mean, I'm telling you, I know. I could tell you what's going on at Lewis Jewelers. That's how into it I am. But I like the community that you guys have built. You guys have built such a great community, and even though it's not my community, I don't live in Ann Arbor, but I mean, the community is just great, and that's the best thing that. This last year has been very tough for a lot of people and for a lot of reasons. But the people who have come out on top are the people who have pivoted. And they've this show wasn't online in terms of people being able to see it. You couldn't see it until this year. You guys figured out a way to put it online. And as a result, it gets out to more people, and you increase your reach and stuff like that. Same thing with the Nowhere Comedy Club, which started doing these Zoom shows, which can reach more people. We do our podcast. We have people in Ireland. We have people in New Zealand who stay up all night to come and check these shows out. They could have never come to these shows. Like we haven't been to those places. So something like this, where we could then bring a Jeff Ross into the show, a Jordan Klepper into the show, and get to do this thing to save this wonderful local place in Ann Arbor, and do it through you guys. And the community's big all over the country. Everyone's going to tune in. To me, is the pivot we need, and it's just why this show and John U. Bacon are so special.
Yes, they are. And again, folks, tomorrow night, 8:30, and here is the retweet that's coming up here shortly. And so all of you guys, if you haven't bought a ticket, please do. If you've already bought a ticket, spread the word. Like we just had Kurt O'Keefe, a good friend of the show. Mm-hmm. Kurt, he messaged in from Facebook. I sold some tickets at Michigan Tech. Wherever you are, folks. Tell folks about this deal tomorrow.
O'Keefe, I got a lot to say about that guy. Right there. So I'm up there at Tech for a board of trustees meeting. We're there, with masks on. We're all 6 feet apart around a U-shaped table. We got the president of the university with the chair of the board. We got the CFO, the chief legal counsel. This is a pretty serious setup here. And on the big screen up there, the roast of John U. Bacon. O'Keefe, damn it, I'm going to find out where you live.
I was just looking at O'Keefe's picture. Just we'll get a little roasting in right now. Can you put his thing back up there? O'Keefe's picture in there. And this is the only, I've never met the guy, but I will say he's wearing like the white hat and the white thing. He looks like he knows where in the world Carmen Sandiego is.
No, he looks like a vegetarian Hannibal Lecter.
There you go.
Hey, vegetarian Hannibal Lecter, which, it reduced some of the tension of the movie. I had tofu and a little Chianti.
Yeah.
Okay?
Different movie.
I'm not getting the hook here, but yeah, let's do it. Let's definitely do that one.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's do it. This is how we do in radio. We bombard you with information, with calls to action. One more time, fellas, before we get out of here, with the ticket information, the time information. Lay it on them.
Okay, so eventbrite.com. The show is tomorrow night. It's going to be 8:30 East Coast time, 5:30 West Coast time, wherever you are. Figure that out. Go to eventbrite.com, look up live roast of John U. Bacon, or go to the MGO blog site. It's up at the top up there. You guys are posting the ticket link here, and you can click and get your tickets. You can get a T-shirt. All the money goes to support, all of it goes to support the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. It is one of our favorite clubs. It is an Ann Arbor institution. Think of it as doing this for a very small amount of money. A lot of fun in a night. It's a night out in your house. It's safe. It's fun. The only person it's not going to be safe for is John U. Bacon.
That's right.
It is safe. It is safe, and Bakes, very generously put himself out there for this. It is going to be a super fun night to save an Ann Arbor institution, and that's what we do as community. We rally around the places we love, and we hold them up.
Yeah, we're going to give you a more well-rounded view of John U. Bacon, this pristine professional, this best-selling author. That's what we know most, and that's what he mostly. I mean, he's in Teddy's dad and Christy Bacon's husband, but there's another side of John U. Bacon that you're going to find out about tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to people having a fuller view of you, Bakes. It's going to be great.
Yeah,
can't wait.
Maybe I will too, for that matter. But hey, back to tickets, though. If you're getting the Sklar Brothers and Jordan Klepper and Jeffrey Ross and Holly Anderson for $10 or $20, you're getting a steal. Any one of them would cost you at least that much at a show, $25-$30, I'm sure. And you're getting all of them for a cheap night out, cheap night in. So by all means, sign up. See the denouement of yours truly. It all had to end sometime. We knew it had to end.
Always knew you were a cheap date, John.
I'm a cheap date. I'm a cheap sacrificial lamb. Usually get some 18-year-old virgin for this kind of thing, right? But here I am. So
Definitely
none of those things. But anyway,
not 18.
we'll leave it at that.
All right, well, fellas, it's a blast. Randy, Jason, you guys are the absolute best. I love you. Glad to have any reason for you guys to come on these airwaves is a great reason. This happens to be an outstanding reason. So glad you could wake up early in the morning and join us. Folks, be sure to join us tomorrow, 8:30 for the Roast of John U. Bacon to benefit the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. I just retweeted the link that was tweeted out from the station account. Really, really looking forward to it. Bakes, thank you, man. We love you. I'm telling you right now, before the roast tomorrow, just know we love you. This is being done out of love.
For my single days, and I was single for like 30 years, from like 18 to 48 or so. I know what it's like a but you know what? You're a great girl. Let's start there.
You know what that means? The hammer's about to fall. The hammer's about to fall.
Or you know what? We need to talk. Yeah, all right.
Thanks. It's going to be amazing, and thank you guys for just all that you do.
I love you all anyway. How's that? I love
you. Perfect.
All right, fellas. Thanks a lot. That's going to do it for us here on the show. Thanks for listening. Folks, buy those tickets. Join us for the Roasted John U. Bacon tomorrow, 8:30 to benefit the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. Again, the link on Twitter. You can search it on Eventbrite. You just search John Bacon Roast, and up it will come. Buy those tickets. We'll see those of you who are going to be a part of the roast tomorrow. The rest of you will see you on Monday here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTK The Ticket, the official voice of University of Michigan Sports, Ann Arbor, a Cumulus station.